Now is the time to reclaim who you were always meant to be. My dear friend Laura, this episode is dedicated to you with love. You helped me in so many ways without even knowing it. This is my gift to you with deep love and so much respect for who you are and what you do for me, for us, and for our entire community.
Hey, this is Stef, and welcome to the Together Moving Forward podcast.
A podcast helping 2S LGBTQI plus people embrace self love and self respect so you can celebrate yourself with pride. In this episode, you'll discover how self love helps you move forward even when fear feels overwhelming, why reclaiming your LGBTQ identity with pride starts internally, not externally, how small, consistent steps rebuild confidence, trust, and self respect over time. Today's conversation is your next step towards self love, confidence, and reclaiming who you were always meant to be. Hello again, I'm Stef Vachon, and I am a human being. Welcome back to the Together Moving Forward podcast. Embrace your 2S LGBTQI plus identity with pride through self love. No matter where you stand in the 2S LGBTQI plus spectrum, we are all connected. And if you ever struggle to fully love and respect yourself, you're not alone. And this podcast is here to help you. As someone who has navigated my own journey of self acceptance as a queer, I know the power of hearing voices that reflect our experiences. In this podcast, you'll hear real stories and conversations that leave you with practical tools, fresh perspectives, and the confidence to embrace who you are with pride. To start, I need to say that I'm not a psychologist, a specialist, or someone with a college degree. I'm just a regular guy here to share with all of you and support each other. I will share my journey, and we will all share journeys together. We learn from each other how to move forward. Last week, something truly magical happened to me. I've shared in many episodes that I started figure skating again about a year and a half ago after 15 years away from it, and that I'm back competing in different events as an adult. My main goal is to compete at the biggest ISU adult international competition this May in Germany, and of course, at the Gay Games in Valencia, Spain, at the end of June, all of this year. Exactly 1 year ago, last weekend, I was about to perform in front of judges and a crowd for the very first time in more than 15 years. I talked about it in one of my podcast episodes. But before we listen again to what I had to say a year ago, let me explain something to you. When I was a kid, competing in figure skating became extremely hard. Because of the abuse I had to endure day after day, my anxiety and stress were so intense that all my energy was going into simply surviving. Weeks before a competition, the anxiety would become so overwhelming that I would almost lose all my skating abilities. My sleep would get even worse, and I would experience constant panic attacks. On top of trying to survive what should have been a normal day for a kid my age, everything already felt unbearable. So imagine trying to perform in front of judges and a crowd on a thin blade on ice. The moment I stepped into the ice for competition, I would completely lose the feeling of my legs. I would fall, trip, and make mistakes over and over again. It destroyed my self confidence. I could not understand why this was happening to me, why I couldn't control my nerves, why I was performing so badly. Shame, guilt, and the desire to quit would follow me weeks afterwards. I would repeat that cycle for pretty much every competition. And yet, even then, I was such a strong skater that I still placed on top many times. I eventually quit my competitive career at 17 after making it to nationals here in Canada. I stopped competing and started performing and touring in ice shows and eventually moved into coaching. Being back on my skates today is not just about skating. It's about reclaiming who little Steph was before the abuse. It's about rediscovering who I truly am. It's about giving that little boy the comfort, the safety, and the love for his passion that were taken away from him because of others. Now, Let's listen to what I had to say exactly 1 year ago before I share with you how magical last weekend truly was for me. In the last episode, I mentioned that I had my first skating event last weekend, and I promised to let you know how it went. Just to give you some context, in case you haven't listened to the previous episodes, after 15 years away from the ice, I returned to figure skating last summer. My goal is to compete at the Gay Games in Valencia in 2026. So I've signed up for some competitions to ease back into it. As I said, my first event was last weekend. For my first event, I choose a small regional invitational competition with very few people to keep stress level as low as possible. Still, here's how the experience unfolds. All week feeling excited, but also very stressed out. I was not having a great week on the ice, but I knew what was going on. My husband reminding me every day, why am I doing this? Because I love it. So I realized that I had to take care of little Steph because this is really triggering me in a lot of ways. And it's kind of taking me back into my childhood when I was competing. The way it works is before I go and perform, there's like a 6 minute warm up on the ice. Right when I got on the ice, I started warming up. I couldn't feel my legs at all. So I had a coaching friend that was there supporting me by the boards. So I went to her and I said, look, I can't feel my legs. Like, I don't know what's going on. And then she's like, Steph, look at me, look at me. And I was just like looking around everywhere and all stressed out. And she said, look at me, your legs are right there. They're right underneath you. Just go and jump. And even though I have performed in the past at hundreds and hundreds of shows and competitions, this was like really triggering me and taking me back into when I was a kid. So my little family is there, my husband and my son, and there's even an old student of mine that came to watch and see my performance. And I don't want to go anymore. I'm just like totally scared, more than scared. I just feel like I'm going to get shot or die, but I can't go back. Like I have to go. Like, what is this going to show to my own son that when you're scared, you give up? And I know this is this is not the Olympics at all. This is just this really small competition, but I'm just so scared. It's my turn and they call my name and I have to go and take my spot. So the music starts and I start moving. And then I'm like, is this a dream or is this for real? I could really not tell if this was for real or not. Then, last weekend, the day of the event, here's what I wrote on my social media. 1 year ago today, I stepped onto the ice and performed in front of judges in an audience after more than 15 years away. The fear inside me was so incredibly intense. The self doubt, the anxiety of not being good enough, it felt overwhelming. My first instinct was to hide, to run, to disappear. But here's the difference between then and now. Today, I know how to talk to myself with kindness. I know how to take care of myself in those moments of fear. I understand that when fear shows up, it's often the voice of past experiences trying to protect me. And now I know something even more powerful. When fear is present, that's exactly when I need to move forward. What a transformation in just 1 year. Tonight, I return to that same ice with a completely different energy. I feel excited. I feel grounded. I feel confident. And I truly can't wait to be on the ice. I surprise myself. I am so proud of the progress I've made, especially in my confidence and my growth. This is proof that one small step at a time, we get there. And sometimes we get further than we ever imagined. Wish me luck. Now, here's a part of what I wrote the next day. Wow, last night was a magical moment for me on the ice. I honestly don't remember ever performing with that much confidence and ease. By far, my best competition performance, even better than my practices since my return just a little over a year ago. I truly couldn't have skated any better than that. This gives me incredible momentum heading into my big events in May and June in Germany and Spain. My heart is full. We keep going. I can't even begin to explain how hard it has been to return to training and competition with a completely different body after such a long break and now at almost 57 years old. Coming back after more than 15 years is not just about putting skates back on. It's about rebuilding strength, rebuilding endurance, rebuilding trust in my body, and doing all of that while healing from a past that once made the ice feel unsafe. But I don't want to live with regrets anymore. I don't want to look back one day and wonder, what if I had tried? I have to give myself the gifts I deserve now. Because this is my second chance at life. I am no longer surviving, I am living. I'm no longer hiding who I am. I am finally happy with who I am. I finally love who I am. That changes everything. Last weekend, when I stepped onto the ice, something shifted. I felt confident. I was fully present. I was enjoying every second. I don't remember ever feeling like that before. I felt in control. I felt joy and I felt my legs. You have no idea what this means to me. For years, my body would shut down when fear showed up. My legs would disappear under me. My nervous system would take over. But this time, I was there, fully there. When I went to take my starting position, I began right in front of the judges, very close to them. And I had this moment. I looked at them straight in the eyes, not with fear, not with shame. There was stress, yes, but it was healthy stress, the kind that sharpens you instead of paralyzing you. And in that exact moment, I realized something. This is the greatest gift I have ever given myself. To stand there, grounded, proud, present, on the same kind of ice that once felt like a battlefield. It was truly magical. I'm so proud of myself for not quitting when it was hard, for taking one small step at a time, for trusting the process. And somehow, it became even better than I ever expected. And if this is possible for me at almost 57, after years of survival and silence, imagine what's possible for you. This is why this podcast exists, to remind every LGBTQI plus person listening that your story is not over and your comeback is always possible. Because healing is possible, because reclaiming your identity with pride is possible. Because no matter how long you've been surviving, you deserve the chance to finally live fully, freely, and unapologetically. You can reclaim the space that one felt unsafe. This is what Together Moving Forward stands for. Not just surviving, but reclaiming our identity, our pride, and our power. Together we rise. Oof. Okay. Oh, oh. I love this. I love this. I love this. Okay. If there's one thing I want you to remember from this episode, it's this: self love is not a concept, it's a practice. It's choosing not to abandon yourself when fear shows up. It's choosing to move forward even when your body remembers the past. It's choosing to speak to yourself with respect instead of shame. Reclaiming your LGBTQ identity with pride doesn't start on a stage. It doesn't start in front of judges. It doesn't start when the world applauds you. It starts internally. One small step at a time, you rebuild trust. You rebuild confidence. You rebuild the relationship you have with yourself. And when you do that, everything changes. So if you've been surviving, hiding, or doubting yourself, let this be your invitation. You're not behind, you're not broken, you are rebuilding. And your pride, your identity, and your power are waiting for you on the other side of self love. Together, we keep moving forward. I'm always looking for inspiring guests for the podcast, and I would love to have you or someone you know share your journey with pride. The world needs your story. It has the power to change lives, and your voice matters. Reach out and send me an email today. Also, I'm now booking keynote speaking engagements. My talk is From Survival to Self Love: How I Finally Learned to Embrace My LGBTQ Identity with Pride, and how you can too. Details at togethermovingforwardpodcast.com under speaking. It is already time to say au revoir just for now. Join me every Monday and Thursday for brand new episodes of the Together Moving Forward podcast and learn how to embrace your 2S LGBTQI plus identity with pride through self-love. Wherever you're from in the world, we are all connected. Remember, solidarity beats hate. The more we unite, the stronger we become. Because at the end of the day, we are all equally human and we all deserve the same rights. One last thing before I go. Put your head on your heart and repeat after me. Yes, you and me together. I am continually growing and evolving into my best self. Yep, I am continually growing and evolving into my best self. From shame, guilt, silence, and rejection to pride, freedom, healing, and love. Together moving forward. Thank you so much for being here with me today and for sharing this journey of growth and love. I truly appreciate you. See you real soon. Ciao. Do you know anyone in the LGBTQ plus community who feels disconnected from their true self, wishing they could embrace their identity with confidence and pride? Share this episode now and help them step into self-love and self-respect so they can truly celebrate who they are with pride, feel empowered, and make a real difference in our community.